Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Colorado Buffaloes. That's right, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, Colorado. You love them, you hate them, but I promise you'll be watching. They are facing the North Dakota State Bison. North Dakota State, of course, from the FCS. Colorado, a 9.5-point favorite. The over-under set at 59.5. And if you want any reflection, by the way, Deion, Coach Prime, will probably do some media availability later this week. We are recording here on Tuesday, but I just bring it up to very simply say, you want to know how Coach Prime feels about this game? Just look at his comments at Big 12 Media Day, where he looked his AD in the eye and said, Rick George, you couldn't have given me a layup to start the season. So it is clear that he has respect for this team. And I'll be honest, I am as intrigued by Coach Prime and Colorado as anybody in all of week one. When you look at this game and you look at Colorado, I'll be honest. We all know how last year went and last year ended. You start 3-0, you have the excitement of the TCU, Nebraska, Colorado State wins. Some people were talking about Colorado as a playoff team. I never saw it. Get humbled a little bit by Oregon. But then, you nearly beat USC. You do beat Arizona State. And all of a sudden, you feel like, hey, we got a chance to get bowl eligible, whatever. Unfortunately, after, a 4-2 start, you end up at 4-8 overall. After the 3-0 start, you go 1-8 down the stretch. And so it was a disappointing end. But the one thing I'm going to say about Colorado, I know nobody wants to give Coach Prime credit for anything, and he's the worst. First of all, I'm a Coach Prime guy. I think anybody who's watched this channel knows that. But the one thing that you cannot deny, if you actually just look at this roster, look at the production of players coming in, this team is infinitely more talented than a year ago when they went 4-8. And I'll take it even a step further. I think they're better at quite literally every single position group on the field. Now, it obviously starts with quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Listen, he's I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, the guy is I think a first-round talent, maybe if things go well, a number 1 overall talent. So he's back. We know that. And we understand that it was really bad last year, especially on the offensive and defensive lines. 130th in rushing yards. What was the stat? 56 sacks allowed. That was the second most in college football. But you don't have to be significantly better. You just have to be a little bit better on that O-line, allow for a run game, and then let Shedeur cook. Thing is, like I said, you look across the board, I think Colorado is better again at essentially every single position group on the field. Running back, Dallin Hayden is in from Ohio State. 2 years ago, he was really good. Last year, Travion Henderson is healthy. He doesn't get as many snaps, but he is in at running back. Wide receiver, Travis Hunter's back. Jimmy Horn is back. But what I really like is the new guys that are in that you may not know. Will Shepard, leading receiver at Vanderbilt, was one of the best wide receivers in the portal. The name I want you to know, write this down because I guarantee you. As a matter of fact, producer Matt, you might want to clip this one off because I'm telling you, this is the guy that people are going to get to know on Thursday night. LeJontay Wester is a transfer from Florida Atlantic, 108 catches, 1,100 yards, 8 TDs a season ago at FAU. And I actually went back and watched the Colorado spring game. Him and Shedeur have great chemistry. Whatever it is, I'm not smart enough to know when a QB and a wide receiver vibe, but these two dudes vibe, and I just think they're going to be able to throw the ball all over the field, especially because the offensive line should be improved as well. We know about the 5-star Jordan Seaton at one tackle. Khalil Benson, a multi-year starter in the Big Ten at Indiana, is another tackle. And listen, you're going to make fun of Indiana football. I get it. But Khalil Benson was really good. Gave up 1 sack all of last year. This is, again, starting in Indiana, starting against the likes of Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, whatever. Gave up 1 sack all season. So the O-line is better. The wide receiver room is better. The running back room is better. Defensive line should be better as well. BJ Green, all Pac-12 performer last year at Arizona State, is in. RIP Pac-12, by the way. You have basically the two best defensive linemen off Pitt, the Hayes kid, Sam Okunlola. Both those guys are in. You have Quincy Wiggins, a former 5-star at LSU. So I know I'm just going down the roster, but the defensive line is better. The secondary has a chance to be elite with Travis Hunter, another transfer to know Preston Hodge. I think this roster is really good. And so when I look at this game, I know everybody wants to tell me, oh, North Dakota State upset alert. I'll be honest, I just don't see it. One, with North Dakota State, listen, we all respect what North Dakota State has done the last few years, but it is worth noting, like the North Dakota State steamrolling everybody in the FCS, that era has been kind of over for a while. They have not, and I know this is going to sound silly, have not won a national championship since 2021. That's a problem a lot of people would like to have, but here's the deal. That's 3 years. They're not the best team in the FCS. Their head coach, Entz, left to take a position at USC on that new defensive staff, and it's worth noting. New head coach coming out. He was at North Dakota State years ago, was with Craig Bohl at Wyoming. Now he's coming back to the FCS level. This is not a guy that's been promoted from within. This is not a guy that has a track record and recruited all these guys and knows this program. New head coach, first-year head coach, and North Dakota State with 4 losses a season ago. And so maybe I'll be dead wrong. We get stuff wrong all the time on this show. I own it when I do. We do Aaron right, Aaron wrong every Friday for this exact reason. I don't see the loss here. I don't see where it's even close. Like I said, Colorado is better at every single position group. I think outside of the Deion media stuff, it's been pretty quiet. I watch a lot of the well-off media stuff that Deion Sanders Jr. puts out. That team looks focused. That team looks locked in. They've had some open practices that have been open to the public. I think they have a chance to be really good. Now, the schedule is brutal for Colorado, and we don't need to spend a ton of time talking about, a month down the road. But there are 5 ranked teams in the Big 12. Colorado plays all 5 of them, starting with Kansas State in just a couple weeks. And they have to go to Nebraska in week 2. So I'm not saying this team is going 12-0. I'm not saying they're unbeatable. What I am saying is I just don't see the loss in this game. Give me Colorado. Give me a comfortable, I'll say like 31-13 type win. I would think Coach Prime is probably going to get Shedeur and the starters out early, so maybe there's like a little backdoor stuff there. I just don't see the loss. I don't see it being competitive. Maybe I'm dead wrong. I know a lot of people don't like Colorado. I think this is one they cruise to victory. And then you get ready for Matt Rule, Dylan Raiola, and Nebraska in week 2.